Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with the Fan TV, man. Back at you with a video. Like the content of the video, go smash that like button. Like the content of this channel, go and subscribe, man. Look, so Ravens training camp day 2. We're getting right into the news and the notes of everything that happened out there on the practice field, from the reporter's perspective, and comment on it from, a Ravens fan being excited about this upcoming season, right? All right, so first start off with the injuries. Lamar Jackson is still out. He's just being described. He's just described John Harbaugh as sick. We don't know better or worse than yesterday. We don't know, right? Just described as being sick, right? So that's what we have with that. Then you got guys like Keaton Mitchell, T.J. Tampa, and Adisa Isaac, who all been on PUP list. And then the Ravens have waived cornerback Trey Swirling, who's with the team throughout, the mini cafes and all that other stuff before. And they did that to make room to sign veteran safety, special teams ace Daryl Worley. And Daryl Worley's a guy that, whenever the Ravens have called upon him, whether it's the spot start at safety, last year, a couple years ago, whether it's to do special teams, whether it's just to, be a guy that can give you solid reps whenever you need him, he's done that. So I'm a fan of the Daryl Worley signing. He's a good depth piece at safety, and like I said, in special teams as well, which you'll probably see a lot of action on it, making the team, right? So that's a good signing. I'm glad to have Daryl Worley back. And so that's it for as far as the injuries and stuff like that. Now, as far as what happened on the field, now today was a day that was dominated by the defense, right? According to all reports, right? It is a very rainy day today, so offense in the rain can be a lot harder. You don't have Lamar Jackson out there as well. And then on top of that, really, when we're talking about the beginning of training camp, the beginning of training camp typically belongs to the defense anyway, right? So shouldn't be really too much of a surprise or anything to be worried about or concerned about. That's generally how training camps go. Defense gets off to a hot start. Somewhere along the middle, the offense catches up and maybe even surpasses the defense, right? This is how it goes, right? But I will talk about offense first, though. The main player today on offense was Rashad Bateman, right, which is a wonderful sight to hear, right? Rashad Bateman had 4 catches in total today, including one-on-one with Brandon Stevens deep down the field, and another one where he went over top at cornerback. I believe they said it was Trayvon Mullen over the middle. They said he took the ball off his helmet, right? So if that's not encouraging news, I don't know what is. Right now, once again, it's early on in training camp. But the thing is Rashad Bateman is out there making plays and also going to get the football, right? That's been a very, very fair and legitimate criticism of Rashad Bateman's game is that he sometimes plays too finesse-like at wide receiver, right? Get some physicality going, go out there and attack the football, right? Out of all the things that have been said about Rashad Bateman, there's some of the things that I think that are downright unfair. I think that's a very fair criticism, right? If he wants to be a better receiver, he has to go out there and attack the football. So hearing that, he got to play versus a very, very good cornerback in Brandon Stevens. Hearing that he went over the middle of the field, over Trayvon Mullen, who might not be a starter, sure, whatever, but it's about the physicality and going and getting the football that I want to hear, right? So to me, that's very, very positive. Hopefully he keeps this up, when Lamar Jackson is feeling right, feeling good, and is back practicing with the team, right? So, because that's going to be the big thing, right? I don't know who threw him these passes. It was probably Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson to Rashad Bateman, that connection is not important. We need to have Lamar Jackson to Rashad Bateman. That's the important connection. But Bateman is putting in the work right now as Lamar Jackson recovers, starts to feel better. We'll see him back. But, so for Bateman to do the things that he's doing right now at secondary practice, that's good news to me. All right. Now, something that if you watch the Ravens Wired is false start laps, right? Todd Monken implemented this, I believe, this offseason. I don't think he was doing it last year. That if you false start, if you don't line up correctly, pretty much any kind of pre-snap infraction, you take a lap, right? And the players, I'm gonna say they weren't happy about it. They were happy with the coaching about it, but players they don't want to take a lap. It was already hot, when they was recording this back in the mini camp. But one of the writers, I believe it was Kyle P. Barber, had actually tracked, who had false starts today, so who actually took laps. So Isaiah likely took 2 laps, and then Andrew Voorhees, Charlie Kohler, and wide receiver Sean Ryan all took 1 lap each, right? So that's something that's going to be important. I might not talk about it every day, but to really nail down and get rid of pre-snap infractions is a very, very big step of being a good offense, right? You don't want to hurt yourself and make it, 1st and 15 or whatever, what have you, right? You don't want to do that. So I like that the fact that Tom Monken is drilling that down. Like, listen, you false start, you line up wrong, take a lap. I don't want anything about it, take a lap. That's going to build into him. We don't want to do that, right? So I know no issues with that at all. Now, the defense, like I said, dominant day by the defensive side of the ball. Typically what happens early on in training camp. But big news is that 3 Ravens caught interceptions today. We have Nate Wiggins, Eddie Jackson, and defensive lineman Tremaine Walthor. I hope I'm saying his name right? All right, so for Nate Wiggins, he caught a pick today, and they said that he was exceptional in coverage all day. We only had one bad rep, and that's when he was called for a holding flag. But this is what Nate Wiggins does. This was his whole advertisement coming out of college, that he was a cover corner, right? Now, listen, going back to the draft, I said that, I wasn't the biggest proponent of taking a cornerback in the first round, right? But I can understand why the Ravens did it and why Nate Wiggins makes sense, right? You want to get younger at the position. You want to continue to stack up that defensive back room, right? The Ravens have been hit with injuries in the quarterback room many years. So it happens pretty much every season that. So Eric DeCosta, if there's one position that Eric DeCosta is going to try to have stocked, it's going to be the cornerback room, right? So Nate Wiggins is already showing that, that first round talent and potential. Hopefully he keeps it up, man. So I love hearing that he already caught an interception just his second day of training camp. Already caught a pick, so that's great. All right. And now the newest signed Raven, or not, I guess not newest because Darryl Woolley just signed, but before that it was Eddie Jackson, right? Eddie Jackson caught a pick today, and Ryan Meeks said that it would have been a pick 6. So he caught a pick. He would have took it to the house if it was a real live game situation. So Eddie Jackson, I mentioned him yesterday. 6 interceptions in 2018, 4 interceptions in 2022. Last year, I believe he had 1. All right, so his interception numbers have gone up and down throughout his 8-year career, but when he's been on, he usually catches them in bunches, right? So this could be one of those years where we don't know how much he's going to play. He's not going to get the full kind of starter stamp that he was getting in Chicago. But if he can play and make an impact when he does play, I mean, listen, Geno Stone caught a lot of interceptions here, and Eddie Jackson can do the very same thing potentially when given the opportunity, right? So for the defense, that's great, right? I mean, I think one of the biggest questions for the Ravens team was, with Mike McDonald gone, we're losing some pieces on that side of the ball. How do you react? How do you refill those needs, right? So I think the Ravens have done a good job of making sure that secondary is strong and intact. You sign Eddie Jackson, you bring in the Nate Wiggins, you still have Kyle Hamilton, you have Marcus Williams, who can hopefully get through the whole season healthy. We're still very early on in training camp, but that's been the only thing holding Marcus Williams back is his health, right? When he's played, he's been still one of the best safeties in the NFL. So the Ravens are still in line to have an elite secondary and elite defense, really. But particularly about secondary, we talked about Marlon Humphrey yesterday. So Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Williams, guys like that, stay healthy and stay engaged throughout the entire season. The Ravens defense might not be as good as they were last year because they were phenomenal last year, exceptional last year. But they still should be very good, right? So that's the Ravens training camp report for day 2. A day dominated by defense, with some standout performances from Eddie Jackson, Nate Wiggins. But can't forget on the offensive side of the ball that Rashad Bateman made a bunch of big catches today. And if the Ravens offense has any chance of, taking that next step, they're going to need Bateman to continue to do things just like that. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, man. Thank you guys who commented. Like I said, man, drop your comments down there. I want to hear your thoughts about what you think is going on in the Ravens training camp. So, let me know, man. But I'm going to get out of here. It's Gabriel, this is Fan TV. I'm out.